Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be looking at a band called Reign of Erebus. Now this band actually contacted me a few months ago asking if I'd check out their new single, and somehow it managed to get lost amongst all of my emails and messages that I've received from various other bands and other requests that have been sent in by other viewers and stuff. So unfortunately I'm a bit late getting to this one, and I do apologise. But anyway, as I said, the band is called Reign of Erebus. Tried to do a bit of research on them, as I usually do. Didn't really come up with very much. But what I can tell you is Reign of Erebus is a black metal band formed in Hampshire, England in 1997. They managed to forge for themselves quite a substantial path in the UK extreme metal underground scene up until 2005, when the band went on hiatus. The band have now reformed with a new lineup and a more raw black metal sound. And they made their return this year with the album De Morte Aeterna. To date, they have 3 full-length albums and 4 demos. Now, the track we're going to be looking at today is called Among Dreams of the Damned. It is a lyric video, but I don't actually have any lyrics for the song, so I won't be able to dive too deeply into the meaning of the song, if there is indeed any. I mean, with it being black metal, they're generally not very deep lyrically. Some of them are. I have been proved wrong before. And we all know that I have a very love-hate relationship with black metal. Some of it I really enjoy, some of it I think is just utter garbage. So what comes of this one, we don't know. So yeah, there's not really anything more I can tell you about the band. Can't really tell you anything more about the song. I don't have any lyrics for this song, so we won't be able to examine it too deeply. But we'll jump to the song now and see what we have. So, Among Dreams of the Damned by Reign of Erebus. Let's have a look. And there we go. That was Among Dreams of the Damned by Reign of Erebus. And I must say, I actually quite liked that. As I've mentioned before, black metal can be very hit and miss with me. I have a sort of love-hate relationship, because you get this stuff that I call bathroom black metal, where you have an almost constant riff playing all the time. The guitar riff doesn't change much. It's like the same note played constantly. Maybe it goes up a note, maybe it goes down a note, maybe it changes octave occasionally, but it's just like the same sort of note being played over and over again, occasionally maybe changing. There isn't much imagination to it. And then you've got some drummer who sounds like he's playing a completely different song, and then you've got a vocalist who sounds like he's in the next door neighbour's bathroom recording the vocals. That's what I refer to as bathroom black metal. It's got very low production quality, and that's the more genuine black metal, allegedly. But I don't enjoy that. I don't find anything entertaining in it. It just sounds messy. It sounds sloppy. It sounds, it's not good to me. Then you get the really highly overproduced stuff, but you don't really get that too often with black metal, but it does happen. You get really sort of overproduced stuff, and then you get the really good sort of melodic stuff where you have bands like Emperor and Dimmu Borgir and Hecate Enthroned, and that sort of thing. And it's when you get the really good sort of melodic parts that I enjoy, and this is what this band had. There was good riffs. They switched things up. They switched things about with the vocals a little bit. They had, for the most part, they had the typical sort of black metal screamed / growled vocals, and occasionally they had this sort of chorus of voices, where it is like more than one voice that's singing at the same time, just to emphasize a certain line or word in the song. And I like that. That was really, really good. So this was actually quite an enjoyable track for me. Lyrics-wise, as I said at the beginning, black metal isn't typically that imaginative when it comes to lyrical content of songs. Like I said, it's mostly about magic or against Christianity or demons, that sort of thing. It's more fantastical than you might find in things like death metal and stuff like that. They tend to be more in the realm of fantasy, magic, that sort of thing when it comes to black metal. So, not exactly the deepest of songs in the world, although this one did seem to be talking about what happens to the mind when you die. So there is a little bit of stuff going on there. There is a little bit going on, but again, it's not a hugely deep track as far as I could tell lyrically. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have any lyrics to look at and analyse, so I couldn't really say for certain. But I did quite like it, to be fair. And like I said, when they reformed, they brought in a slightly different sound from what they originally had. So I'm quite interested to go and look back at what their older stuff might have sounded like, compared to what this one like, because they say this is a more raw black metal sound. So what was the other stuff like? Because normally it goes the other way around. Normally black metal bands start off with a sort of lo-fi, sort of not very produced sort of sound, and then make their way up towards the like of Emperor, Dimmu Borgir, etc., as they are now. So I'm intrigued to see what the older stuff sounded like. So yeah, it's one of the rare occasions where I actually do enjoy the black metal. But unfortunately, like I said, I can't really dive too much into the actual song itself, so can't really say much more than I actually liked it. And that's one of the things I don't like doing that on this channel, because almost every other reaction channel you get, you have somebody listen to a song, talk over half of the song whilst they're watching it, and then at the end of it they go, yeah, it was alright. or no, I didn't like it, and that's that. I like to talk more about the band. I like to talk more about the song, so we actually find out more about the music. But unfortunately, I can't really do that with this track. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave that as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you can even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would, of course, be a great help to me. There is an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire. There's a couple of limitations on how frequently you can do that, and that's just to be fair to people who suggest tracks through regular means, such as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube comments. And if you do suggest a track through those regular means, do know it might take me a while to get around to your suggestions, since I do get suggested a lot of tracks every single day, and my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it'll get done eventually. It just might take me a while to get around to it. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes. More or less, it mainly wants to put an end to hate crimes aimed towards people of the alternative culture, but, essentially it wants to put an end to all hate crimes, and it's something I believe in very, very strongly, and something I am very, very passionate about. And as you may have seen at the very beginning of this video, today would have been Sophie Lancaster's 34th birthday. She would have been 34 today, had the tragedy of her murder not taken place. So, it's quite a powerful thing when you think about it. This young woman, she was killed 13 years ago in 2007. She was brutally attacked and beaten to death, and this is what brought the Sophie Lancaster Foundation into being, and it's something that I think really needs to be spoken about a lot more. It definitely needs more attention bringing to it, because every day all around the world, people from the alternative culture are getting violently and brutally attacked just purely for the fact that they listen to alternative music and wear alternative fashion. And it gets ignored. Nothing gets said about it, and this is something that really needs to change. Because we're not talking about just insults being thrown and spat at you. We're not talking about things that, like, being shoulder rammed as you walk down the street. We're talking about real violent crimes where people are getting brutally attacked, violently beaten, and people are getting hospitalised with broken limbs and sometimes even more life-threatening injuries just because they listen to alternative music or wear alternative fashion. And it's something that it's always boggled my mind how the logic of that works anyway. But it's something that's been going on for decades, and we never hear anything about it. The last time we did hear anything widespread about it was 13 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people and beaten so severely that they both ended up in comas. Now, thankfully, Rob Maltby, he did survive. He was in a coma for around about a week, maybe a little bit longer. But he did thankfully survive. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, she was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries, and she died. And she was only, I think she was 21 at the time, and she was beaten to death because of her taste in music and clothing, and like I said, this happened 13 years ago, and it was all over the news for, several weeks, several months, and then, it's disappeared, and we've not heard a single thing since. But in those 13 years since this tragedy happened, several hundred, if not several thousand more people have been attacked in similar ways, and we don't hear a damn thing about it. Like 2 years ago, a young woman in Glasgow, Scotland, was running a charity gig, and at one point during the evening she had to go back to her home for whatever reason, and it was a 5-minute walk away from the venue where she was hosting this gig. She just had to pop to her home and then go back to the venue, and in the space of time it took to go from the venue to her home, in the 5 minutes journey time, she was attacked twice by a group of people who beat her, punched her, knocked her to the ground, kicked her. You know, basically exactly the same thing as happened to Sophie Lancaster and Rob Maltby. And where was this in the news? We didn't hear a goddamn thing about it. You know, this sort of thing shouldn't go unspoken about. You know, this shouldn't be ignored. You know, what happened to Sophie Lancaster could very, very easily have happened to this young woman. Luckily, a passing taxi driver put a stop to what was happening. But the thing is, he didn't even stop to check on how she was. He didn't check to see how she was doing. He just buggered off. You know, after the crowd had scattered, he buggered off. She didn't manage to get any help until she went back to the venue where she was hosting this gig. You know, and this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You know, it's like I've been attacked numerous occasions just because of my taste in music. My members of my family have been attacked because of our taste in music, because of the clothes that we wear. I mean, my sister has been attacked, and she isn't even a metalhead. You know, many of my friends have been attacked in a similar fashion just because of our taste in music and clothing. You know, it's unacceptable. You know, what is going on? You know, every single day we hear about all of these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, etc. We hear these every single day, from the most heinous and violent of these crimes where someone is murdered because of the colour of their skin, or because of their religious beliefs, or because of their sexual identity, down to the most pathetic of these crimes where some entitled white woman is calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space. We hear every facet of these every single day in every media platform. But we don't hear anything about these people that are getting violently and brutally attacked because of their taste in music and because of their taste in clothing. Why not? You know, these are violent crimes. We shouldn't have to wait for what happened to Sophie Lancaster to happen again before this subject gets spoken about. We shouldn't have to wait for someone else to lose their life over such a stupid and pathetic reason. You know, there's... Why is this a problem? You know, you don't beat someone to death because they listen to opera. You don't beat someone to death because they listen to Neil Diamond. You don't beat someone to death because they like different movies and TV shows to you. You don't beat someone to death because they like different flavoured crisps to you. You know, so why would you beat someone to death because they like different music to you? Why is this a trigger point? What is the problem here? It makes no sense. But this is a very real problem, and it's getting ignored, and that is not good enough. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more attention to the fact that this sort of thing is going on, and they want to put a stop to it before something like what happened to Sophie Lancaster ever happens again. You know, they don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. What happened to Sophie Lancaster can never ever be allowed to happen ever again. It never should have happened in the first place. But if we carry on ignoring the fact that this is happening, it's only a matter of time before it does happen again. And that's unacceptable. By ignoring it, we're essentially letting these people think that they can get away with it. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously you don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it be a small donation through their website or something as simple as one of these safety wristbands, or maybe even this one should you feel the need, you know, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.